This is the fifth Sunday of Easter, and I wish to give a summary of my reflection of today. That the first reading, as taken from Acts of the Apostles, chapter 6, from verse 1 to 7, revealed to us the grumbling, the murmuring of the Hellenists against the Hebrews, because their widows were facing injustice. Their widows were neglected. Their widows were discriminated. Why? Because of one word, nepotism. Because the Jews saw themselves as special creatures better than the Hellenists. To this, they were treating their widows better than the Hellenists from a common source they had for the distribution of palliatives, or if you like, foodstuffs for all the less privileged in the community. It was in this light that the Hellenists stood up against the injustice that were being displayed against their widows. The Hellenists became like human rights activists who were fighting for the justice of their own widows. They made themselves the voice of the voiceless. They made themselves the pillars of truth who fought against the Hebrews, who were seeing themselves as special creatures than the Hellenists. Today, as citizens of Nigeria, we are also crying the same. We are saying that the less privileged, the poor in the society are not given special attention, that only few from a particular section of the society seems to be enjoying the goodness of government. Today, we are also called to be like the Hellenists, to be human rights activists in being the voice of the voiceless. That because they spoke for the justice of their own widows, in Greek, gongusmos, they grumble because their widows were being maltreated. And to this, the apostles heard them, and their cry was heard, and that justice was brought about by the ordination of the 7 deacons. Probably the widows were crying, Kumbaya, 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 oh Lord, Kumbaya. Someone's crying, Lord, Kumbaya. Someone's crying, Lord, Kumbaya. Someone's crying, Lord, Kumbaya. Oh Lord, Kumbaya. Now, the foundation to the injustice that was shown to the Hellenist widows, as seen in Acts of the Apostles, chapter 6, from verse 1 to 7, is nothing but nepotism. Nepotism is a very dangerous disease that makes you not to care even for the less privileged in the society, apart from those from your own fold. The problem with the Hebrews was that they saw themselves as special creatures. They saw themselves as better Christians who must be beneficiaries of anything good that is coming within the community. But they had quickly forgotten that the funds or the foods that they were sharing to only their own widows was a contribution from both the Hellenists and the Hebrews. In other words, they were sharing from the common fund to only their own widows. To this, the Hellenist human rights activists stood up against this reality. Today, this is not strange in our society, where a particular group of people feel that the leadership of this country is their birthright, where a particular group of people feel that anything good in the nation is only meant for them, that goodness and the inheritance of the leadership of this country is their birthright. Just like the Hebrews, who felt that only those who were circumcised are to enjoy the goodness of government. This was also the situation with the Hebrews, but it is not true. We must learn to care for all the citizens. Palliatives must be given to all citizens. And when injustice is being shown, when injustice is being carried out even in the open, the society needs human rights activists, just like the Hellenists who spoke in favor of their widows. If not because of these men who were the voice of the voiceless, their widows wouldn't have gained anything good. If not because of these men who were brave in spirit and heart in speaking against the injustice, their widows wouldn't have anything to gain. For Nigeria to be safe, we need human rights activists like the Hellenists. For the common masses to gain hope, we need human rights activists who are ready to damn any consequence in speaking the truth, in standing against all the injustice that is ongoing. We must be the voice of the voiceless. We must be the voice of the poor, like the prophet Amos, like the Hellenist, like Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. will say, a man dies when he refuses to speak justice. A man dies when he refuses to stand for the truth. A man dies when he refuses to be the voice of the voiceless. We call our leaders men and women of integrity. But integrity is being a keeper of the law. Integrity means that he who obeys the rule of law. Integrity means that he who has respect for justice and fairness. With this interpretation from the Hebrew word sadek, can we say that our leaders are men of integrity? The answer is absolute no. Therefore, we must wake up and speak against injustice. We must wake up and speak the truth, just like the Hellenists in Acts of the Apostles chapter 6 from verse 1 to 7. Jesus remained our hope. Jesus remained the way, the truth of our salvation. This is why he will say in John's Gospel chapter 14 verse 1, let your hearts not be troubled. Believe in God and believe in me also. So our confidence, our faith, our hope is in the person of Jesus. That even as we stand and speak against the injustice that is ongoing in our nation, the heavens will surely bless us. That even as we stand to speak against the injustice that is ongoing in our nation, that we must know that Jesus remained the truth. He remained the way. He remains our salvation. He said, let our hearts not be troubled. Why? Because he is our redemption. What a love we have in Jesus. He said, in his Father's house are many mansions. So why should we fear? Why should we lack confidence in him? He loves me, I cannot say why. He loves me, I cannot say why. On Calvary's tree, he suffered for me. He loves me, I cannot say why. God bless you.